This video is sponsored by Surfshark. Guys, about a year ago I took the Caledonian Sleeper from London up to Fort William in Scotland, and it was an okay trip, I suppose. I didn't get much sleep, I never really do on sleeper trains. The food was okay, but yeah, there was a problem with the water, so I didn't get a shower either, and I paid nearly £200 for that trip, including dinner, and I thought, do you know what, there must be a better way of doing it. So you join me back down in London, where I am attempting to beat the sleeper, so to speak. I reckon I can get a better night's sleep, I can get about the same amount of food, I can certainly get a shower, so why don't you come with me? We'll see how it goes. It's going to be entertaining, isn't it? So yeah, I shall see you in a bit. So I headed past the famous Speaker's Corner, where there was quite a lot going on actually, and then into Marble Arch Underground Station on the Central Line. Ordinarily I would change onto the Northern Line at Tottenham Court Road, which would then take me up to Euston, but today I would be continuing east all the way to Liverpool Street. Not to take the train this time, rather I knew that adjacent to the station was a rather popular pub, the Wetherspoon Hamilton Hall, and it was in there that I would be having dinner. Right guys, so dinner tonight a little bit earlier than I would have had it on the sleeper, but it's okay. The Hamilton Hall, which is just outside, or inside or outside Liverpool Street Station, which is fine, I've been here before, and yeah, so sausage and mash, decent pint, and you can't go wrong really from the 12 quid, so I'm going to tuck in, and yeah, and after that I'm going to head for my departure point tonight. It was dark by this point, and yeah, just sitting inside what was a really busy pub on a cold and drizzly evening, and I couldn't help drifting off and thinking about Scotland and its distant islands, rugged landscapes and remote lighthouses. The sort of place really that is ideally suited for telling you about this week's video sponsor. Now guys, as you know, I travel extensively these days, whether that's to Mexico or Bangkok or even up here at the Butt of Ness Lighthouse. I'm going to need public Wi-Fi wherever it's available. Now the downside to that, of course, is that the connection is very often unsecure, and that means that my personal data is at risk. And so to combat that, I've downloaded and installed Surfshark VPN on all my personal devices. Now Surfshark is a virtual private network that works by establishing a secure connection between you, the user, and the internet. Not only does this protect your personal information from hacks and attacks, but it also allows you to gain access to streaming services like BBC iPlayer or Netflix that you may not otherwise be able to gain access to when travelling outside of the country that you are based in. Now Surfshark uses over 3,000 servers based in over 100 countries, and this is really useful to remember when you're looking for things like flights or accommodation, because by basing yourself in another country other than the country that you live in, you can often leverage cheaper flight deals and maybe even cheaper hotel accommodation. Now for simplicity of use, Surfshark is the only VPN that gives you one login for all your devices, and for total peace of mind they also give you a 30-day money-back guarantee. Now Surfshark are currently offering you guys 4 months of subscription absolutely free, and all you need to do to take advantage of this brilliant offer is to click on the link in the description to this video below, scan the QR code on the screen now, or type in the unique web address beneath it. Right, let's get back to the video. So it was back down into the Tube and the Hammersmith and City line, which would take me to West Ham. I then took a DLR train to my starting point proper for this Highland adventure. You may have an inkling now as to where I was heading, and yeah, as you can see here, it wasn't a railway station. Right guys, so London City Airport. Hands up who thought I was catching the train up to Scotland tonight. Yeah, thing is, right, when I was looking at booking this, I did look at the train times first of all, and well, for a start off, there was some kind of engineering work going on the West Coast Main Line, so that wasn't ideal. There's all sorts of issues with strikes and stuff with the West Coast as well, and so I would have had to go up probably with LNER via Edinburgh, and the best price I could find for an equivalent arrival time was £64 something, and this is costing me about £66, so there's not a lot in it, is there? And
I'm not actually going to leave London until 8 o'clock tonight, so a little bit before the sleeper would from Euston. But obviously I will be getting into Glasgow, all be well, by 9ish. I will probably be at my hotel by 9:30 to 10 o'clock tonight. And then I'm going to get a great night's sleep, hopefully, and an early train in the morning from Glasgow Queen Street up to Fort William. So it makes sense to me. Let me know what you think in the comments below. But I've got about an hour or so to chill out here now in the departure lounge. And just waiting for my flight. I will catch you in a bit.
Our aircraft tonight was GLCAD, a 12.5-year-old British Airways Embraer 190. We were called to board at around 19:30 hours, and it was a quick walk across the ramp here, up the stairs and onto the aircraft. Seat 12A for me tonight, an exit row seat, nice and roomy. Boarding was super efficient actually, and after just 10 minutes we were ready to depart. Flight deck estimated takeoff 10 minutes early, and they were right. Flying out of the blocks from runway 09, our half-empty aircraft was in the air within seconds. A left turn took us north towards Glasgow. 55 minutes was the scheduled flight time though. The captain reckoned we could probably take a few shortcuts, and that would bring the time down to just 50. A very pleasant crew on this flight came round with complimentary sweet or savoury snacks, hot and cold drinks and alcohol. I had a can of the BA Signature Brewdog Speedbird, the sort I normally pinch from the lounge actually. And to be honest, you'd be paying £5 on the Caledonian Sleeper for a can of a similar size. 35 minutes after leaving the ground at London City Airport, we were beginning to descend towards Glasgow Airport, and we landed at 20:48. Now the Sleeper, by the way, doesn't leave Euston until 21:15 if you're heading for Fort William. And after landing at Glasgow, it was time to head outside for the bus, and that would take me into the city centre and my hotel for the night, the Premier Inn at St Enoch's. I took the Glasgow Airport bus from the airport, and that only takes 15 minutes to get into the city centre, and they leave every 15 minutes or so too. At £10.50, it's quite expensive compared to the other service, the 77, but the latter takes around an hour, and at this time of the night I'd rather pay the extra £4.20 and take the express service, to be honest. And at 21:37 I'd reached the hotel, and the very first thing I did was to have a shower, a good shower with actual hot running water, plenty of it and plenty of space to do it in. Although the bed on the Sleeper is quite nice, this one looks far more enticing, doesn't it? And yeah, I just knew I was going to get a good night's sleep tonight. Before that though, it was time to head out for a quick drink, and I thought I'd try and replicate my usual Sleeper experience by having a double whisky. Highland Park if you're interested, and at under £6 it was again significantly cheaper than the Sleeper. Back by 11, I set my alarm for 6:30. See you in the morning. Morning guys, from my hotel room. Yeah, I reckon I had about 7 hours sleep last night. I could have had more, but I decided to go down the pub for a bit instead. So yeah, I didn't get to bed until gone 11, but yeah, that was absolutely fine. I had a really comfortable night, and what's more, of course, the showers, especially in the newer Premier Inns, are absolutely fantastic. So I took full advantage of that facility too. Could have had a bath actually if I wanted one, but I didn't really have time. Anyway, plan is we're going to head up to Glasgow Queen Street and catch the 8:22 train, I think it is, which is going to take me all the way up to Fort William. And we're going to have breakfast on the train. So I'm not quite sure how we're going to go about that yet. But yeah, I've got an idea. And so we'll do that. And hopefully the train windows aren't too dirty. We can get some great views of the scenery on the way. Let's see how it goes. But yeah, all good so far. I'll see you on the train. Yeah, it really was a good night's sleep. No shunting of carriages in the middle of the night or anything like that. I felt really refreshed as I walked the 10 minutes through Enoch Square up towards Glasgow Queen Street and its impressive modern frontage. Inside, the large departure board here told me that my train was departing from platform 7 this morning. A Class 156 diesel multiple unit consisting of 4 carriages, front 2 for Oban and the rear 2 for Fort William, and then on towards my leg. It was a fairly quiet train this morning, and so I chose an unreserved table seat on the left-hand side. And most of the best views on this journey are through the windows on the left, in my opinion. And leaving Glasgow Queen Street, it was just starting to get light, and it was time for me to get stuck into breakfast.
Right then, guys, on the train to Fort William, and we left about 1 minute late, but that's no big deal, is it? I mean, in the scheme of things. So I just wanted to show you my breakfast on the train today, which consists of the following: a Greg's croissant on the left, a Greg's baked bap on the right, and a Greg's latte just up there, which, to be honest, it's probably going to do me until lunchtime, really. About £5.45 I think it was, so yeah, quite happy with that. I'm going to tuck in, and hopefully it's going to brighten up in a bit, and I'm going to enjoy some of the scenery as we go along. I'll catch you in a bit.
We arrived into Dumbarton Central 6 minutes late. This is a place I've always wanted to visit, as the football club has one of the most picturesque backdrops of any ground, the impressive Dumbarton Castle. We cross the River Leven and carry on our way. And just thinking back on breakfast, well, okay, admittedly it's not the same as having it on the Caledonian Sleeper, is it? Maybe I should have brought my tablecloth. Yeah, I totally get that, but it is value for money, I suppose, and you can't argue with the price. And just on this subject, I should point out here that there is no catering trolley on the train. Well, not at this time of year anyway, so yeah, do make sure you've had breakfast or stocked up before you board, because you're looking at a near 4-hour journey if you're going all the way to Fort William. We reached Crianlarich, and this is where our 4-car class 156 diesel multiple unit divides into two. The first 2 carriages disappear off to Oban, and shortly afterwards our train makes its way up to Fort William. As we leave the station, you can see the single-track Oban line branching off to our left here, and similarly our line is also single-track, with the next passing loop being Upper Tyndrum, where a freight train was waiting for us to arrive. And once that had left, it was our turn to take the line. It was definitely brightening up now as we headed for the old Kinglass Viaduct with views back down the glen. Shortly after that, we've arrived at Bridge of Orkney, and to give you an idea of the remoteness of this line, well, the station only saw just over 7,000 passengers in 2023-24, but it gets much more remote than this, and the scenery, well, it just gets better and better. Rannoch, a name that is synonymous with remoteness, mainly due to its surroundings on Rannoch Moor, and of course the well-known story of the line's construction, where the tracks were laid on a mattress of brushwood, tree roots, earth and ashes to stop the rails sinking into the boggy ground beneath. And no snow up here today, but an eerie mist had descended, and I see deer in the distance as we made our way towards the equally iconic Carrara station. Now, if anyone goes on at me about pronunciation, right, maybe I should do it like this.
Any passengers alighting at Carawa Station, please make your way to the doors at the middle of the train. Only the doors at the middle of the train will open due to a short platform. The next stop is Carawa.
The guard on the train today, she was absolutely fantastic, really happy and customer friendly, and that makes a big difference, doesn't it? And unlike the Caledonian Sleeper, well, on this trip you're going to be dealing with a lot of different customer-facing staff, whether that's BA, airport staff, hotel staff, bus drivers, ScotRail. Well, in my experience, everybody I met was really friendly and helpful, and just comparing it to the Caledonian Sleeper, well, again, in my experience, all the staff on there have been friendly and helpful too, so yeah, I don't actually see any of the staff as a reason to do one thing or the other. And this is one of my favourite parts of the line, towards Tulloch, and the views over Loch Treig, which were absolutely awesome today. And again, it doesn't really matter whether you're on the sleeper train or a normal train, as long as you're in daylight, you're going to get exactly the same views and scenery. It's probably more important as to whether anybody's cleaned the windows or not, to be honest. We follow the River Speen now, which flows down dramatically through the rocks here towards Speen Bridge, where another ScotRail Class 156 is waiting for us to arrive. And then we're soon coming into Fort William. The train is on time for its 12:12 arrival, which is a couple of hours later than the sleeper, isn't it? But I knew that when I booked it, and yeah, for me, it made absolutely no difference to my plans for the rest of the day. So I grabbed my bag and made my way off the train onto the station platform, where I just paused for a minute to think about the journey before realising I actually had a bus to catch. Right guys, Fort William, and we were a couple of minutes early actually, if anything. But I've got a bus to catch now, but yeah, that's going to take a couple of hours or so, and when I get to my hotel I'm going to have a think about the journey, the positives and the negatives of course, and have a little bit of a chat about whether you would do the same thing I have just done or not. I'll be interested to hear your comments. So yeah, I've got to dash, catch a bus, and I'll see you in a little while. Incidentally, if you are catching a bus, what you need to do is just head off the platforms into the terminal building here, turn right and walk across the road towards Morrison's, and the buses arrive just down to your right here, where you will see half a dozen stances and a bus departures display. The Scottish City Link 919 service took me up to Inverness, where once I'd made a cup of tea, I just took a couple of minutes to summarise the journey. Okay guys, in my hotel room in Inverness as it happens, the buses run every couple of hours from Fort William, so yeah, I just jumped on the first one I could once the train had pulled in. And I thought I'd come up here and do the summary. What did you think of my alternative to the Caledonian Sleeper? Did I beat the Sleeper? Or yeah, was it too much to-ing and fro-ing, getting from the airport last night to my hotel in Glasgow, and then walking up to Glasgow Queen Street this morning, jumping on the train? Well, the total price I paid for everything, including all my food, was £150 and 16 pence. And my Caledonian Sleeper discounted price from last year was £192 and 25 pence, and that was for an ensuite cabin, so yeah, included dinner and breakfast as well. So a saving I made on this trip of £42 and 9 pence. So was it worth it? Well, you know, I'm not trying to pitch this as a Caledonian Sleeper is a load of rubbish and this is a much better option, you should really do it this way. It's just a different way of doing it, and for me, it kind of worked because it allowed me to get a good night's sleep in my hotel and a decent shower both last night and this morning. And that's important to me. I don't sleep very well on sleeper trains, as I've already said. And so, yeah, if you do, then, you know, maybe it's not as an important factor for you to consider. You may have other factors that you would prioritise over those. You know, I'm sure if you're able to sleep on a train, you know, you can just jump on it at Euston, maybe have some dinner, and then you go to sleep, and then you wake up in the Highlands the next morning totally refreshed. But yeah, for me, it just doesn't really happen. And so let me know what you guys would do. I mean, I'd definitely do this again, but I would also do the Caledonian Sleeper again. You know, maybe last year I didn't have a great experience, but I called it as I saw it, and you know, the next time I do it, it might be an amazing experience. So, yeah, like I said, let me know what you would do and what you thought of this trip in the comments below. And I really look forward to your thoughts on this one. And don't forget, guys, you can get 4 months free Surfshark VPN if you sign up using the methods on the screen now. If you click on the link in the description below or the pinned comment. Thank you very much for watching. If you found this video interesting, I would really appreciate a like or a comment or a subscribe if you haven't already done so. I shall see you on another adventure soon, I'm sure. And until then, guys, as always, cheers for now.